Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So we are starting blood physiology. So there will be some 8 to 10 videos of blood in which we'll complete the theory and practical both aspects. Okay, so this is a small video about just overview of composition of blood. Okay, so blood, if we talk about blood, we have 5 to 6 liter of blood, which is roughly 8% of our body weight. pH is 7.4 plus minus 0.05. If we see composition of blood, 55% is made up of plasma, 45% are cellular component. In cellular component, we have three type of cell: RBC, which we call erythrocyte. The normal value is around 5 million per microliter. WBC is white blood cells, which are also called leukocyte, 4,000 to 11,000 per microliter. Then platelets, we have 1.5 to 4 lakh per microliter. In plasma, if we talk about the water portion of whole blood, 55%. If we divide it into some ions and water, 91% is water and rest 9% is having solids. In solids, we have all the ions, the inorganic components: sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, chloride, bicarb, and iron or protein. And organic molecules, if we say, the plasma proteins, which are very important, we can say albumin, the most important plasma protein, which is needed to bind basically all the fat which are not water soluble basically. So it combine with all the fat soluble components. It can be hormone, it can be anything, and it basically carry it in the blood to target organ. Then globulins, we know all the immunoglobulins are made up of globulin, right? Fibrinogen, we have will read this topic in clotting. Then prothrombin, same in clotting. And we have albumin globulin ratio. And there are some other components in blood which are sugar, fats, enzymes, and hormones. So this is a brief overview of composition of blood. Sometime it can be asked, what are functions of blood? So function of blood, if you see, obviously it is needed for transport of gases, the CO2 and oxygen, by RBCs in blood, from lungs to tissues and from tissues to lungs. Okay, then they have plasma proteins, which play basically lots of role. It act as carrier function, it play role in immunity, immune function. It also maintain osmolarity, right? Then blood is nutritive function. It basically transport all the nutrients from one part to other. Then blood is needed for regulation of pH balance, regulation of temperature, and electrolyte balance, right? Whenever we have high electrolyte level, they will be excreted toward kidney. And then for excretion of waste products like urea, toxins, and for hormone actions, blood is needed, because the endocrine system is dependent on blood, because the glands are ductless basically. They pure their secretion in blood, and through blood all the hormones, they reaches their target organs and play their functions. So this is all about functions of blood. Then we can also enlist functions of plasma proteins. Plasma proteins, which is a separate topic, we are just going to touch upon it. So plasma proteins, we have albumin, globulin. In globulin, we have alpha globulin, beta globulin, gamma globulin. We have fibrinogen and prothrombin. If we see forms of immunoglobulins, gamma globulin, for example, there are some proteins which are basically binding proteins for various things, various ions. Say transferrin, iron binding protein; ceruloplasmin, copper binding protein; agglutinins, which are nothing but antibodies; glycoproteins and lipoproteins. These are basically, lipoproteins are lipid molecules which are basically found by liver. Then glycoproteins, which act as some adhesion proteins and also act as some barrier functions. So if we enlist what are different functions played by these proteins, I'm going to show you the list. So sometime question can be asked, what are functions of plasma proteins? So how you have to answer that question? I'm going to show you 7 functions of plasma proteins, and this will be your best answer if you'll write in exam. So first is the most important, which is it maintains the colloidal osmotic pressure. So plasma proteins maintains colloidal osmotic pressure to prevent water leakage across the capillaries. So if we have protein inside the capillary, it will attract water toward the capillary. It prevent the leakage outside. Okay, so whenever the albumin concentration decreases, the movement of water to interstitium increases, which is causing edema. Okay, so whenever we have high oncotic pressure, there is less filtration. Whenever we have less oncotic pressure, there is increase in filtration, or we can say edema. Okay, so second function is it acts as binding or carrier proteins. For example, for iron transferrin and for copper ceruloplasmin. You'll get to know in physiology there are lots of binding proteins which help in various cell responses. Okay, next part is fibrinogen. We have seen, so in blood clotting, fibrinogen and various clotting factors are also proteins which are helping in blood clotting process, which is very vital for us. Then is immunity, all the globulins which help in immune function to form antibodies against antigens, and obviously they protect us from various infections. Then is transport functions, various drugs, various ions and hormones, they are being transported via blood to the target organs. Then viscosity of blood, because they are high molecular weight proteins, so viscosity of blood is also because of these plasma proteins. And last, they act as buffer for acid base balance. Okay, so they can accept H positive ion, obviously they act as a good buffer. Fine, so these are all about list of functions of plasma protein. I hope you understood the functions of blood and plasma proteins. You can enlist all these functions as functions of blood. Okay, in next video we'll start what is hemoglobin, structure and types of hemoglobin. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any doubt, you can comment below. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye bye.